I swear, I forget to hit that button every single time. So I'm going to have to make a few calls after about this. But anyway, talk about like if you're getting referrals from other business, if it or for other business, if people are asking you for listing appointments, what are some of the responses you're getting that are helping you engage with that lead, and what direction are you taking it? So sometimes something works really well and it's a broad thing that everybody could apply. Please feel free to share those sorts of things. In addition to the Slack channel, Tuesdays, Joe and I are going to be hosting Breakfast in Business for the remainder of this challenge. Every Tuesday, come into the office, be set up and ready to go by 9 o'clock. We will have bagels and donuts or something like that here for you. And
Now
if
we're
you're going to
talking.
be, if you're going to be here for the if you're going to be here for the team meeting and the team training, it's a great way to just start time blocking that section into your schedule or your calendar to have regular office hours. And if you have not had a chance to spend a lot of time in our new office, let me tell you guys, it's its own vibe. Okay. It's lots of energy and fun. We have people laughing. We've got people focusing on business. It's problem solving right away. So we're creating a really great culture here. I love that the sales coordinators are all present at least 3 days a week. We're seeing them in the office. So we've got a really good thing going, and love to incentivize you to come in and spend more time at the office. So please, if you can, write that into your schedule. Be here and ready to work by 9 a.m. on Tuesday mornings, and then enjoy some treats or something on us. And I might even take some breakfast requests, right? It doesn't have to always be bagels and donuts. Maybe I'll be nice sometimes and like work something special up. We'll see. We'll see what I can do for you. But yes, I would love to see you in the office. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, we are going to be alternating every other week, where we're going to have like a workshop here in the office from 4:30 to 6:30. So 2 hours again, window for people where maybe evenings work better. You can come in, be ready to work by 4:30, and until 6:30, you'll have some of your fellow colleagues around, exchange some success stories, what's working, what's not working, and just giving you some time blocking in your schedule to stay focused on the challenge. We're going to have some printed materials. We were hoping we would have them today, and we actually we're buying a machine for this, guys, so that we can do binders for everything. But the parts that you need to do the coil on the binding were not available until Monday. So if you want, and that's part of the reason we have decided we're just going to roll out this challenge officially on Monday too. There's some legwork you can do over the next couple days with prepping your list of of past clients, etc. So just take that time to kind of go over the plan in detail so you can see everything that's involved in it, and use this as preparation time, I guess. So we'll have those printed materials for you as early as possible on Monday, and I'll put a notice in our Slack channel for the challenge when those are here in the office and ready for you. We're also going to have a Google, probably a spreadsheet put together at some point where we can track who's getting appointments, who's getting listings. Are you getting referrals at all from how this is rolling out? And then have some contests associated with that also. And then as a kind of like end of each section party, I guess, I'm going to host a happy hour at the end of our first session, the second, and the third session. And my hope is that everybody sticks through the whole challenge, because oftentimes when you're doing things like this, it's easy to only participate for a certain period of time and then to fall off. But I want to reward the people who are, making the effort to stick with it in their schedule. So we're going to come up with something where we can host a party for the end of each or closing of each of these sessions. I don't know what else to call them. Basically, it's day 1 through 33, then day 34 through 66, and 67 through closing, as a way to just celebrate everybody who worked through that whole first session. So, and that's kind of where we're going with things. Does anybody have any questions right off the bat?
Is anyone sitting here thinking like, I don't know who I'm going to call?
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit so you can like start off on the right foot. You probably have some past clients, correct? Or clients, as Tom Ferry would say. Right?
Yeah. I don't know if you're specifically talking to me, but
Yeah, I am, Carter.
oh yeah, no, I've like 80 past clients. Yeah.
Okay, so that's where I would start. So you can,
Do you start old? Do you start older and work your way to more recent? I would imagine. Like, is there
I
like,
would.
imagine anyone
Yeah.
within the last 6 months to a year? I'm probably not.
Yep. So I would start with the older ones. And I think one of the first activities in the book is to look up the person's estimate and reach out to them and say, hey, like you paid this much for your house and this is what this estimate's saying. Like, would you like me to do a true market analysis on your house to give you an idea of how much equity you have? And
Hey, Nicole,
then
I have a question on that one.
is there anyone else that you can think of in your immediate sphere that would be interested in this service, right? So get a referral.
Okay, that was going to be my question, Nicole. So like if somebody just bought a house within the last year, they probably, I mean, they're probably interested in what their estimate is, but chances are they're not ready to sell.
Right. So
But
then I would say, who do you know that would be, potentially that's been in their house for a long time that would be potentially interested in finding out how much their house is worth?
Yeah. Perfect.
I want to add
the
to
other
that real
thing
quick.
is, the other thing
Can
is,
you hear me, Nicole?
oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to add to that same thing you were talking about before you move on to your next point. Keep in mind that a lot of the buyers who did purchase in 2020 and 21, they were sometimes just jumping to get into a house because they had lost in multiple offers. They may have a degree of buyer's remorse and want to know if they have enough equity in their house to sell it and then move into something different. That might not be this winter, but that might be a conversation for a spring or summer seller again. So don't just rule somebody out based on when they did purchase their house. I fully agree with what Nicole said in terms of working with kind of the oldest out for your past sphere. But if you do have somebody who purchased within those last few years or even year, they might have done a little bit of panic buying, thinking, hey, we just have to jump on this house because we can't get anything. And I know that because I'm working with a couple of those clients as well. And it's about making sure that the number works because they bought a house just to get into a house instead of really the house that met their needs. So with that said, Nicole, please continue your point.
The other thing too is like if there's somebody that has bought recently, if you haven't asked them to do a review for you online, like that's a good reason to reach out. And at the end of that conversation, say, hey, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell? Any other ideas, Jelena?
Yes. So I think seller leads is a good one. If you have anybody over the last year and a half who was saying, hey, we're not going to sell right now because we're worried we can't find anything to buy, or we're not sure how interest rates has affected the value of our house. Like reach back out to those seller leads who maybe paused selling and see if you can re-engage them with this kind of script that we're using. And don't be afraid, like, to ask a lead for a referral. Okay, well, I understand maybe if it's not the right time for you, is there anybody else you think would be interested in getting the value of their property? I'd love to connect with them as well.
Yeah, just because you haven't necessarily transacted with them doesn't mean that they don't think highly of you and that they might refer you to somebody else.
Exactly. And your sphere too, like the power of your sphere, it might be cousins and aunts and uncles that you never sold a property to and their family, but you're using this as a means of engaging with them. You're providing something of value. And even if they're not going to sell their property, maybe they know someone who is, or it's a great reminder that you're in the industry, your college friends. Maybe it's friends that you only connect with maybe in some kind of networking event that you usually attend. And maybe it's
coworkers from a previous employer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. This is Danielle. I was
Absolutely.
just
Hi, Danielle.
thinking that because like I live 4 hours from home, right? So like
Yeah.
my sphere of family and like lifetime friends is far away, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, like they all know I'm a real estate agent. They see me on socials all the time, right? And they're super supportive, but how would I ever sell a house to them or sell their house for that matter? Maybe
Right.
a lake property, But I was
But
just wondering, like, is it appropriate to like contact old
Absolutely.
coworkers?
Absolutely.
Because like that's my next thought. Like, okay, who did you used to work with?
So I'm friends with a financial advisor. And when he got into the business of being a financial advisor, he went back to all of his old coworkers, and those people became his clients.
Okay, cool. So I can do that. I'm not like stepping on, like, I just thought, well,
Absolutely.
is that professional? Jelena, I think
Yes.
you were to say something.
yeah, I
Yep.
think that's totally professional. And I would take it a step further. Just because they're far away doesn't mean you couldn't get the referral by recommending another agent. So
Yeah.
I actually just got a referral from an agent in Alexandria for somebody in Egan
perfect.
that
Nice.
like she lives out of the area and can't or doesn't want to come down here to sell the person's house. I will gladly pay a referral fee.
Yeah.
So
I have a
yeah,
question that maybe isn't directly related to this 100K challenge or whatever,
Yeah.
but it is related to this whole like reaching out to sellers thing. I have a seller who I've been trying to get face to face with, and it's actually someone Cooper passed off to me a few months ago. But I'm kind of stuck at this objection of where last night he sent me an email back after I asked, if he'd be interested in meeting next week. He had said, I've already had 3 other agents come out here in the last month, and they all told me, he's like, I won't sell for less than 375. He's like, I've already had 3 other agents come out and tell me they feel as if it's 325. And I'm like, well, how do I really respond? What direction do I go with that? It's like, if I come out there, it's probably still going to be 325. I'm assuming if he's already had 3 other people tell him that, I'm not going to tell him what he wants either, right?
Here's what I would do. I would ask that lead or that person, I would say, well, did any of those agents tell you what you need to do to your property to get 375,000?
Okay.
This is why I need to come out and take a look at it. I need to come
Yeah.
out and see if I can make a few recommendations for updates that would increase the value of your home. And I don't know if anybody else is providing that value to you. And then I would propose a time and I would just say, can you meet tonight at 6 o'clock? Because what you're
Okay.
hinting at is that getting a higher price is a possibility.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
Yeah.
At least it gets you
I
to
just
the
kind of
face
waited to
to face.
respond, and I'm like, I don't really know how to. I don't really
find
know
out
what to
why
say to
that
him.
number find out why that number is important to him.
Okay.
Like, what is it about that number that's important to you? What would that number allow you to accomplish in your future goals?
Right. And also could they come back with the objection of, well, I don't want to put any money into this house to sell it? What would be a good
Good.
response to that? Because that is often things I hear.
I think it's a twofold thing where you could play off of what I just said and what off of Nicole just said, right? If you ask first about what it is about the value, that is that number that's important to them, or if you say that, like, are you willing to do work, or maybe you're willing to do something to get it to that price point, you can use those in succession with each other or at the same time. If they say, no, I don't want to do repairs, then you could say, okay, well, what is it about that number that is important to you? What's the factor behind that? Or you could start with Nicole's line and ask those questions. And if you get to the why and work with that listing price, then maybe from there you introduce, okay, well, maybe if you put a little bit of work into the property, we could increase its value, but you wouldn't know until you were able to put your eyes on it yourself. So
Okay.
I think you
Hey,
can use
Jelena.
both of those approaches. Yes.
Well, I was just going to add one thing too before we moved on from it's sort of related to the Zestimate thing, but really it's with any touch you're doing is I would say it's more important to focus less on when they last transacted, especially for the ones that was like 1 year, 2 years ago. And if it was recent as like a year or 2 years, you could phrase it as you're giving them the value add of, hey, I do this annually for all my, friends and family, clients, whatever.
Right.
As a value add. So, I mean, if it was one of your sphere and in the past they've transacted with a different agent or something, they're saying to themselves, wow, my old agent hasn't talked to me since close or something like that. So it's more about keeping top of mind with them. It really doesn't matter when they transacted. It's more that now your name is in their head.
That Blair. Great suggestion. It's a good way to reach out to past clients with an intro that way too, even if they're not going to transact. Now you're kind of back into being top of mind for them, and maybe you're just turning that into a referral source in the long run. But using that as an intro line, hey, it's something I do for all my clients on an annual basis. That's a nice way to intro it too. Thank you for that suggestion. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it just seems less salesy if you're like, well, we just transacted last year. They don't want me bugging me about their value, which is like, hey, it's something I do every year. So it doesn't seem so jarring, I guess.
Yep.
And as long as our mosaic system is up and running, which I have to check if we can still invite past clients to that. It is a feature that's getting built in for us. But along with what Blair has just talked about, then you could say, you know, we have this brand new technology that we're using that's not available to anyone. And I'd love to send you an invitation to that where you can check in for yourself on a regular basis and see what's happening with the value of your property. And now you've got them locked into a system where you see what they're most interested in, and you're able to stay in touch with them as part of your 36 touch program. Any other questions? Thoughts? Who's excited about it? I'm excited about it, right?
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
half the business is just having the right words to say. And you have a plan of action that's already been created for you.
I'm excited.
I'm also excited.
Good.
Good
Where
deal.
are you, Joe? It looks very dark.
It does. Parking garage
I'm in a
somewhere?
parking garage.
Oh,
Yeah. I had to run a quick errand.
Okay. Well,
if you're struggling to get through this, please reach out for help. Like you can call any of the sales coordinators. I think all three of us are doing it. You could call Jelena. You can call one another. Like if you need motivation, if you're struggling for scripts, or if you're running into objections that you don't know how to handle, please reach out for
Consistency.
help.
That's my problem. Consistency. I
Yeah.
almost need like an accountability person to call and say, hey, I feel like blowing this off today. Tell me why I can't.
Yep. Give me a call.
Danielle, I think that's a perfect thing to check in with either your sales coordinator or myself on if you need an accountability partner with something for some of this. That's hard for everybody.
Yeah,
And I
I'm
think
very unorganized in that way. Like I really need to work on blocking my calendar. It's something I need to. It's not even, I can't talk about it anymore. I have to make it happen.
so.
Well,
Then go into your calendar today and book those time slots.
Well,
Okay.
and the other thing that's super common is call reluctance.
I have that as well.
Yes. So call reluctance can also pop up in other ways. Like you get distracted doing your laundry, or you get right? You find other things to busy yourself with instead of making your phone calls. Those are all forms of call reluctance.
That actually is what I do more than anything. And then I talk myself into not doing it because I'm doing X, Y, and Z, you know?
I think that's where
very normal.
It is. And I think come into the office for that. And
I think that's why I need to come to these things that you're saying to come to, because it does help me a lot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm probably going to get this wrong to an extent, but I think it's something like it takes 60 days or something like that to form a good habit, but then like you can break it in 2 weeks. So just think of every day that you are making an effort to be consistent with your calls and your time blocking. It gets easier and easier to make that a habit and routine. And this challenge is 100 days, but the benefits of it last so far beyond those 100 days, right? We have goals a series of goals we're looking to reach with these first 3 sessions, but you could repeat this time and time and time again for yourself if you wanted to. It's really about how do you want this to kind of change your habits? How do you want this to change the way that you work? How do you want this to kind of have an impact on your motivation, on your mindset. I think the timing of it is really perfect for everybody as we're heading into fall and winter now.
I think another thing is like, once you start seeing the results of this and it carries on into next year, this is a really great way to like avoid those peaks and valleys in your business, right? So like if this works, and it should work, and can you imagine if you did this every year for the last 100 days of the year, or into the following year? It would really help eliminate those peaks and valleys in your business.
Right. 100% correct. And then Nicole, I'm not sure if you remember this from the conference. I don't remember all of the details, but on one of the last days, they had talked about the owner of Keeping Current Matters had talked about where all the data is leading for number of people who are going to be selling in the next couple of years. This is really setting yourself up to be in line with where the market is headed. Because believe it or not, the surveys and everything that have gone out there, all the data points show that we are going to be heading into a market where a lot more inventory is available. Somebody's going to claim those seller leads. And right now, so far this year, I don't know if you've had a chance to watch the webinar for this challenge or not, but 50% of all agents have not done a single transaction this year, guys. 50%. If this is your full-time job and you're not putting your heart and soul into it, or your market is that affected, you know, how much longer would you continue to do it? And so there's the expectation that a lot of agents are going to leave the industry, and it's the people who are determined to make themselves successful, who are doing the work. They're the ones that are going to reap all the rewards. And right now it's like we're planting all the seeds and the harvest is on the horizon. And you want to be there being the person who's reaping all of the deals.
Yep, absolutely. So don't hesitate to reach out if you're feeling reluctant to pick up the phone and you need some encouragement. I think that's a huge part of this.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole
Thank
is
you.
100% correct when it comes to call reluctance. And I can say firsthand, the first day making calls is always the hardest. But it's similar to working out, that the more you do it and the more consistent you get, the easier it gets and the more you start to see the rewards. And there's also, honestly, I believe there's a mental reward behind the responsibility of doing something that you know you need to do. And so I'll be in the office every single weekday, and I'm always happy to make calls with people. If anyone wants to bounce off scripting, I'm here to support you guys. So
Thanks, Joe.
Love it. Okay, I'm going to do just a quick recap of what we talked about, because I have a habit of not starting the record button right at the beginning. So, okay, Monday for printed materials and for official rollout of our contest. Those will be in the office. I will post or create a Slack channel today and invite all of you to that Slack channel. That'll be kind of our hub for communication throughout the challenge. I will also post on Monday as soon as the printed materials are ready for pickup here at the Edina office. Tuesdays, we're doing our breakfast in business with Joe. We want you to be here ready to rock and roll, so by 9 o'clock if possible. And then you're piggybacking that with the team training and the team meeting. So it's a great time to just kind of engage with everybody who's in the office. Wednesday, or every other week, we'll alternate Wednesday night and Thursday night from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. It's kind of like a workshop time to come in and focus on your challenge or other aspects of the business too, but obviously encouraging you to stay focused on the challenge itself. We will have a spreadsheet created, which we're going to do for tracking who's having the most success, and come up with some contests related to appointments set, listings that are gained, referrals that are gained. Maybe throw a few different things in there so that there are markers for everybody to achieve. And then parties at the end of each session. So we'll do like a closeout for the round 1, and with a happy hour round 2 and round 3 as well. Templates also, 100K dash. You can search that in follow-up boss. And Joe said by the end of the day, he'll have the rest of the emails and templates in there. So, but the first round template is already in there for the text message, just so you know.
There's been a ton of new templates added in there that I've seen that I think are really good.
Yep. Yeah, we're trying to automate, and Joe works diligently on this. We have a lot of meetings about automating text messages or emails for you so that it takes the guesswork out of what to say. You just have to assign it to the right plan, or, just pick the right template, I guess, for whatever type of feedback you're looking to engage in. So, or contact, I should say, with the lead you're trying to engage in. So.
Awesome. Who's excited?
Me.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm hoping
Big
we can
rock.
carry some of the momentum from the conference forward. I love seeing all of you that are participating in it. Stick this out for the whole 100 days. Make a commitment to yourself. You're going to do it. And then can I ask, did anybody get my song reference
I
in
did.
my email I
Danielle
sent out, or
did.
am I just that old?
I'm 50.
Absolutely.
I'm a Gen X, and I totally sang it as I read it.
Yeah, love it. At least a few people caught on. So I'm dating myself in the process of that. But yeah, let's have some laughs. Let's high energy, guys. Let's crush it. And let's put Pemberton Homes and all of your individual names all over the state of Minnesota with listings. Okay. Would love to see it. Awesome. Okay, we'll have more details, but look for invitations or entrance into that Slack channel here shortly. Okay.
Love it.
Thank
guys
you,
are amazing.
everybody. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Thank
Have a great
you.
weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.